Welcome back, everybody, to the WDSU News Hot Seat. Whoever wins will be in charge of prosecuting criminals in St. Tammany and in Washington parishes. So tonight we're speaking with the district attorney candidates, Alan Black, Roy Burns, and Warren Montgomery. We did ask the other candidate, Brian Traynor, to be here. He could not attend this evening. So, gentlemen, let's continue right where we left off with this very energized debate and conversation that we're having. If elected 1 year from now, what will we be saying are your best accomplishments, Mr. Black?
That I have brought integrity back to the office, that I have brought the morale back into the staff, and that the office is working efficiently and within the financial constraints that it has.
The district attorney's office 1 year from today will be a lean, mean, fighting machine, and we will be admired in the community as people who stand up for the safety of the citizens of St. Tammany Parish.
That I've restored integrity and justice to the district attorney's office and to the administration of criminal justice, and that I've kept our families safe.
What we're really hearing across the board from all of you is integrity and justice. And so explain to us a little bit where you think that there is a black hole where that's concerned right now, and how much of a problem has it been for the community in prosecuting cases?
Integrity and justice has been it's left the building. It does not exist. So that's the problem that we have right now that we will face moving forward. So that will be the challenge, and the challenge, it's going to take leadership to bring forward the changes and reform that has been lost. And that's the skills, the qualifications, and my experience would make me the leadership ability to do that.
Integrity's not there, and again, if we look, the federal government's looking all over St. Tammany Parish at the moment, whether it starts with the district attorney or forwards down. Integrity is going to begin with me. I'm going to do that as a full-time district attorney. I'm going to end my private practice completely. My assistant district attorneys will not be able to practice law on the side. We have to end completely the conflicts of interest that are very persuasive throughout St. Tammany and Washington Parish. I'm going to end that, and it'll all begin with me.
Camille, there's a good old boy system operating in Washington and St. Tammany Parish. And by good old boy, I mean that those who are connected with the powerful people get treated one way, and those who are not connected and don't pay their dues are treated another way. And that results in differing sentences for the same crime. That results in people being treated unfairly. And I'm going to get rid of that good old boy system, and we're going to make decisions based on the facts and the law so that everyone is treated the same and everyone's treated fairly.
Morale must have been affected by everything that's happened in that office right now. Do you intend to have shakeups or any changes if you are elected?
I'll start there, to be frank with you. Anytime that there's change, there's going to be change at the employee level. However, the change is really going to start at the top 12 people in the district attorney's office. There's going to be a house cleaning, as far as I'm concerned, dealing with those lawyers who have broken the law, who have been unethical. The people in the middle who are underpaid and overworked, they're going to love me as their district attorney's office because, again, I have a secretary who's been with me the entire time I've practiced law. In fact, 1 day longer. Judy Manton's been with me for 37 years. My other secretaries have been with me 10 and 15 years, respectively. I know how to treat people, and they're going to have a comfort level and know what they're going to do under the district attorney.
The morale will be brought back. I want to implement a written policies and procedures where people know exactly where they stand. You know, you have now senior investigators, one could make $90,000, the other might make $40,000. And there's just no reason, that's what kills what's going on right now. And so there's just nothing that's positive there until you have a written policies and procedures in play to bring the morale back.
And that gets back to the good old boy issue, and that is that not only are people outside of the DA's office treated differently based on their relationship with the DA's office, but even people within the district attorney's office are treated differently. So that rather than your performance being evaluated on the work that you do, maybe you get a gold-plated retirement plan or a gold-plated medical plan based on your relationships with people rather than what you contribute. And we need to get back to people being, to their performance, being judged on their merit and on their production and what their contribution is to the public.
Camille, I don't even think you know this. It's that the women in the office are not treated and paid equally. One of the policies that I'm going to have as your district attorney is equal pay for equal work for whether you're aged, whether you're a woman, or whether you're a minority. Equal pay, equal work, equal benefits. Those are the type of things that I intend to bring to boost morale in the district attorney's office.
And as DA, is there anything, or what do you do? Is there a way to prevent crime? If so, what is that?
Oh, wow. There's no way to prevent crime because you have human nature is one, and you have a devil out there who's out there stalking you all the time. So there's no way to prevent crime. However, what you can do is be fair and reasonable and be smart on crime. Work very diligently to defeat violent crime, and nonviolent crime you treat in somewhat of a different way with early intervention or the drug court program.
The fighting of crime and the prevention of it is hand in hand. You can stop it in the future coming up by using the recidivism rate must be reduced. It's up to 70% if you just incarcerate people. And that's been the name of the game, and you hear St. Tammany, and I don't know if that's a question, but I can tell you that's what we need to get away from, incarcerating everyone, even nonviolent offenders, just because you can. We must start learning how to use the specialty courts to get mental health care involved earlier, such that the recidivism rate will drop below 20%. Therefore, that's how you fight crime.
Mr. Montgomery.
Well, I disagree with Mr. Burns because I think you can prevent crime. And the way you do that is for criminals to know that punishment will be certain, it will be swift, and that it will be equal to the crime that they committed. And that's the same way we teach our children and educate young people, and that is we don't punish them next year for what they've done wrong today. We punish them as soon as we can. Secondly, they need to know it's going to be punished every time. And thirdly, they need to know that the punishment they receive is proportionate to the actions that they took. And once people understand that and recognize that they're going to receive certain consequences, they'll change their behavior.
Okay, gentlemen, one more question before we go. We thank you already for everything that you've expressed to us this evening, but we're almost out of time, and I do want to ask one final question. If you are not here and you were not in this race, which of the three of you sitting here would you vote for? Mr. Montgomery.
I really don't have an answer for that. I think these are both good men. I'm glad that they're in the race. I'm happy to be with them, but I don't know that I have an answer to that question. I'm sorry, Camille.
Mr. Burns.
I'd answer it the same way. To be frank with you, it's a pleasure to stand here and sit here with Mr. Montgomery and Mr. Black, who I've known for many, many years. We have an honorable profession, and from the standpoint to say, try to ask us who we would vote for in a what-if situation doesn't make us a very good attorney.
Mr. Black.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with him. And absent, since I cannot vote for myself under your hypothetical question, I would have to vote for Mr. Burns because he only wants to do one term. And then I'd like to see Mr. Montgomery come in and fill his shoes.
Fair, balanced, and honest. Gentlemen, Warren Montgomery, Roy Burns, and Alan Black, thank you all. Best of luck to each and every one of you.
Thanks for having
Camille.
us.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks so much for being on the hot seat with us this evening. That is it. That's all the time we have. I want to thank all of my guests for being here with us and giving us their ideas and their insight on what they plan to do if they indeed become the very next top prosecutor in St. Tammany and Washington parishes. Now, let's go back